Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about Excalibur issue 63, part of a fantastic story arc done by Alan Davis. He's also the artist to these issues, and he just does a fantastic job in general. This whole arc is a real treat. Now, this particular issue has some focus on who I felt to be like a Shatterstar knockoff on Excalibur. We're talking about Kylun. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The thing is that he's a warrior dude. He uses two swords. Socially, he is very awkward, but he does have like some cool characteristics to him that makes him stand out. The thing is that when he was a young kid, even though he's a mutant, he grew up in Otherworld. There he trained to become a warrior, and he has like basic knowledge of magic and the mystic arts. He has these two swords that only can cut into people that are evil. And that's going to be sort of like a plot point within this particular story. Now, this issue actually starts off with the big story arc that we had prior to this, where we had Excalibur fighting against this character named Necron. He was a villain that was actually a menace to the multiverse. He was trying to steal the Phoenix Force for himself. And Kylun with his swords were key into stopping Necron. So now he's back on Earth, trying to contact his family. And the thing is that out of nowhere, he's attacked by agents of R.C.X, who is this organization that was an offshoot of W.H.O, a branch of the British government that is dedicated to investigating paranormals, mutants, magical beings, all those things. And now we have R.C.X that we don't know if they're evil or not. Now, the director of this organization, his name is Smythe, and he has created this place called Cloud9, where they're actively hunting down all the paranormals, because that's sort of a thing in Great Britain, in the UK. We had all these mutations, like an explosion of mutants, and they're sort of tied to magic. So we had like this exponential growth of the mutant population, and these mutations are tied to magic, and somehow they're sort of tied to Otherworld and stuff like that. I don't know enough of Excalibur's lore and Captain Britain's lore to be able to explain this satisfyingly, but the thing is that now we have Kylun fighting against these guys. They want to take him in. And Kylun discovers or realizes that his swords are not cutting into these guys. They're not hurting them because they're not evil. They're just obeying orders. And he gets clobbered. So the story cuts to the members of Excalibur who are already at Cloud9. And we have Smythe trying to explain to Nightcrawler that first, they're not evil, and that they're dealing with this type of degenerative disease that's affecting all the paranormals. And basically, they're starting to depower and die. You know, at first I thought this was sort of like the legacy virus, but nope, this is a whole other thing. So we have all these mutants that are dying of this unknown disease. And one thing I have to say about the parahumans is that they are visibly very deformed in general. These guys can give the Morlocks a run for their money. Like, they can't live in open society. And I have to say that Alan Davis goes above and beyond trying to illustrate each one of these paranormals very distinctively. And also, he tries to give each one of them very original powers. Like, they have some really cool powers. And Smythe explains to Excalibur, look, I don't only want these paranormals to be like a security force to fight crime and bad guys and do superhero stuff. I want them to use their powers in a constructive fashion to help society in general. So you think, okay, the guy seemed to be sketchy, but now he's showing this good side. But while he's telling this, a old fashioned of paranormals, the Warpies, are sent out to take down Captain Britain. But we're going to leave that for another video because, again, this story arc in general, it's just fantastic. I feel like it's the last really great story arc that we're going to get for this run. When this particular arc ends, like, Excalibur is going to be folded into more of the X-Men side of the Marvel Universe, because prior to this, they were really their own thing. And becoming just another normal mutant title will lead to Excalibur losing its identity, and it's going to have like this lack of direction. But we're going to talk about this in a further video. See you guys next time. Bye.